Hello and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea, and today I would like to continue the series of videos answering your questions. The first question is going to be about time, and it's a question that comes from a friend of mine, Simon, who is a person I've actually had a couple of in-depth conversations with about the information we're getting from the 25th dimension, and I will be actually sharing those interviews with you on this channel very soon. But in the meantime, while we did discuss time, I wanted to get the feedback basically from the 25th and the lowdown on what's actually going on with that, where it comes from, who created it, and what it's doing for us. But before we move forward, I'd like to ask you to please, as usual, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And also do give this video a thumbs up. That really helps me. And do leave me a note below, even just stop by and say hi. Because what I do believe is we're doing with this channel, at least what this channel is for me, it's not just spreading information. So it's a one-way street where I speak and you guys watch. We're past this. This is not, we're all equal. We're all creating reality together. So what this does for me is that I think it provides a place for us to come together, because if you're anything like me, you know that you cannot speak about these things with most of your family or friends. So I think this is a place where people, like-minded people, can actually be open to information, because none of us really know what is going on. We're getting this information, which of course resonates with me, and I assume it resonates with you as well. Otherwise you wouldn't listen to it. And of course, as I always say, always use your discernment and listen to yourself. That's the most important thing, is that you listen to your higher self. But it does provide for a lot of us a place where we can just be open and ask questions and, and think about reality and see what's going on. So I'll start reading now. And again, the first question, this is Lorraine asking me questions. And when I say me, I'm referring to myself under hypnosis. And again, the first question is from Simon, and he asks, is time a real concept created here, or is it just a space between the intention and manifestation that we're calling time, as in a unit of measurement? Basically, what is its real purpose? Who created the idea of time? Is it enslaving us like money? Me. So we all created. This wasn't one side or the other. We all decided that we're going to have time on this planet. And other 3D planets also have time. It's part of the construct we created. So it's not meant to enslave us. It's just what it is. It's like we want to believe in the concept of gravity, which again, it doesn't have to be the same for everybody. Now, time is different from gravity though, in the sense that it truly is just an abstract idea. We have tried to codify it with watches, calendars, and whatnot. In fact, you know this, that there have been, even the dark and light, everybody has been trying to change the way that we think of time. Gregorian calendar and whatnot versus other calendars of other tribes. So everybody's been wanting to play with this. But if you notice, we've been wanting to play with it, but we never removed it, okay? Because it very much is something we want to have here. It just makes everything easier for us. It makes things easy to explain. The past, the future, 5 years ago, when in 10 years, that kind of thing. It's just easy for us as part of the game. We enjoy it because since it doesn't exist, we enjoy it. And really, in many ways, it's a fun idea, isn't it? It's something that allows us to put things behind us, right? Even the fact that we're saying behind us is something that allows us to have the resets and believe, oh, that was 1,000 years ago. What does 1,000 years ago even mean? Really, with our present, if we really were to believe this and take it at face value in our present lifetime, we don't even have the conception of 1,000, 2,000 years, really. What does that feel like? We don't even know, because truly it doesn't exist. But we do like this idea. It's not a negative idea, and so we're okay with it. I mean, on 3D planets, we like this idea, and it will be kept in 3D chambers. They're still going to have time. But time, again, is just going to be a rule that's going to be introduced there because it doesn't exist. Now, keep in mind, though, because it is not, again, it's not a negative idea necessarily, that it's something that exists in other civilizations too. and aliens do believe in time. They have, in the multiverse, we even have universal calendars. It just makes things easier to explain, that's all. And so, for example, a lot of people now believe in the age of Aquarius and whatnot. That's fine, but it doesn't really exist, right? There's no age of Aquarius, and they were laughing. But these people believe there is, and it's easy to explain what's going on by saying there's an age of Aquarius that, 26,000 years ago, whatever it is, however long it's supposed to be. So that's okay. It's a benign idea. There's nothing wrong with it. So yeah, it's a unit of measurement. It's all it is. It's the distance between one thing and the other. But really, truly, how does it work? It works that whatever experience you're having, that will be the experience. And then you go on to another one. Now, if you want to compare the two experiences, this was very long, that was very little. So we like to say, oh, this took a long time, that took a little time, but this is the only reason we even talk about time. The truth is, what matters is our concept of what we're doing, our experience. Our experience will dictate time. It's not the other way around. So I don't know if I answered all your questions about time from Simon. Lorraine, you did, and I believe you did answer this, but he wanted to know if it's an enslavement idea. Me, it's not. We all wanted this. This is part of the construct here. Lorraine, thank you. We have a question now from Miesha. How do we tap in, and what do we do specifically to get peaceful or refreshing nightly sleep every night for the rest of our time here on this earth as adults? Me. We go back to what we said earlier about manifestation. It's not necessarily the goal of your essence for you to have peaceful nightly sleep. If your essence is trying to bring a message through to you or bring dreams through to you that it wants you to pay attention to, then you might not have what you consider good sleep. If your essence, because what happens at night, even when we're not sleeping, we normally are thinking of things that we don't allow ourselves to think about during the day. We keep busy during the day. And so at night, sometimes we do the work that we don't allow ourselves to do during the day. So while you might wish to always have the most restful sleep, keep in mind that, again, that might not be what is best for you or what your essence wants for you. So whatever your essence wants to experience is what you will experience. There is no real formula that we can give you for getting restful sleep, because if that was the goal, you would have it. So the better question would be, why are you not getting better sleep? And we don't mean like, is the room too hot, too cold, or are you thinking about your job or whatever it might be? Connect with your essence, connect with your higher self, and find out which direction you're working on. Many times you don't have restful sleep for the simple reason that maybe you're getting a break. You're getting a break from traveling, because most of the time at night we're traveling and we're doing work. So maybe your essence, your body needs a break, and that's why you're not sleeping. So again, not everything is as it appears. And therefore, you might be wishing for something that's not really good for you. Thank you. Miesha would also like to know if there is something specifically we can do on behalf of our children to receive the same peaceful rest. Me. Here's the thing. Children are extremely active all day long. Essences are often gone from children, even more than we are gone. And therefore, lack of sleep may simply be that, either the essence is coming in and out, within the child, or it could be anything really. It's not necessarily a negative thing. This is what we would like to point out. It's not necessarily a negative thing. Now we understand that for parents, it is very distressing to see a child not sleep at night, and the child might be exhausted the next day. So of course, it would be ideal to have a night of restful sleep from a 3D perspective. But the things sorry here, guys, 1 second. But the things that can be done to help with that, definitely one thing in addition to what we are sure we are sure, and I'm sorry, this is a voice to text transcript, doesn't really always work as advertised. All right, so let me just make sure that it's clear what I'm trying to say here, what they're trying to say. Now, we understand that for parents, it is very distressing to see a child not sleep at night, and the child may be exhausted the next day. So of course, it would be ideal to have a night of restful sleep from a 3D perspective. But the things that can be done to help with that, definitely one thing, in addition to what we are sure she's already trying, like make the child comfortable, create a comforting environment or a comfortable environment. An important thing is also the attitude, the energy that the parents are emitting. So the question is, how do the parents behave when the child is not sleeping? So that also matters. Perhaps if you adopt an acceptance frequency, a certain type of frequency to where you understand, you connect with the essence of the child and you understand what is going on, or you communicate that you're okay with whatever the essence needs to do, that might actually help at a 3D level. In case, we're not saying this is always the case, but in case in which it might be that the child is reacting to the energy of the parent in terms of anxiety put on the child because the child is not sleeping. So that might be one suggestion, but the truth is both adults and children know exactly what they are doing. Children are not helpless, and many times sleep is not the goal. And even though obviously, you know, as 3D people, we would much rather have a good night of sleep than the opposite, but we sometimes keep ourselves up even when we could sleep for the simple reason that we become so anxious about not sleeping. And then you're just really in a catch-22 in that case. We just make it harder on ourselves. So I hope this helps me, Ansha, because I know what it means when a child doesn't sleep. I know you have a young child, and trust me, my heart goes out to you. It is so tough. I don't know, when I look back in hindsight, I don't know how we make it, especially as single parents, like in my case, where, you know, the next day you still have to function and you haven't slept half the night. It's not good. So hopefully, you know, something changes for you, but at least I hope this brings comfort to the fact that there's nothing really wrong with the fact that the child is not sleeping, or you might not be sleeping every night. At least, you know, it's good to know that nothing's wrong is going on. So at least it would have helped me for sure to know this. Lorraine, okay, one question from, and I don't know how you pronounce this, I hope I pronounce it right, Helena Kisonorges. Kisonorges? It's a beautiful name. I just don't think I pronounced it right. I was given my soul name, which is not Helena at all. How can I use my original soul name, and what power does it give me to know that? Now, I've already answered this for you in the live, and it was fun. The reason I posed this question to the 25th, because I wanted to see if there was something more that they wanted to say about it. And again, when I answer your questions in the live, most of the time it's not just what I remember from stuff they already told me, is that they communicate with me. So they tell me stuff. So the reason I did answer part of this question is because they were telling me, okay, this is what it is. And so, but I like the formality of the hypnosis sessions. Sometimes they will add something, especially if they've already given me guidance about something. So I just wanted to ask because I thought it was a cool question. We have already explained this, that anything will give you the power that you put on it. So if you give power to a name to define what you're capable of doing, this is what you will experience. So will it give you power to know that? If your higher self found this way for you to feel empowered by telling you a name that resonates better with your essence, then go along with this feeling. This is wonderful. But the better question, the question that's behind this question is this the only way we can feel empowered? And of course it isn't. Many people are not given a different name by their essence, and they will still feel empowered. They might still feel empowered. So this is just the way that your essence found to have you connect to where you feel like you now have some certain powers. You have some certain powers because you have this name, and especially if you use it so that you do feel connected, then you do feel like it's another stepping stone, basically. It's your awareness of certain things and your connection to your higher self. So it's not a one size fits all, like most things. I mean, we've said this many times in regards to different questions. There is no one size fits all. Whatever the essence wants things to look like, that's what things will look like. And the question is, will we as 3D beings, will we catch on? And the sooner we catch on, the less the essence has to do in order to spread the guidance. So obviously it's easier to catch on quicker It just makes for things to be more comfortable, as opposed to having a near-death experience like some people have to have. Lorraine, thank you. So a question from Tegan Bolito. And again, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing any of these names. So I have an unusual name myself, and it's been mispronounced a million times. So I know that it gets kind of irritating at some point. So, but yeah, I hope you take it in the spirit I'm saying. I'm trying to not mispronounce it. I would love for you guys to tell me how it's actually pronounced, and I'll be happy to fix it. Okay, you told us that while there are no contracts, we do make agreements with our teammates to do certain things or to stick around a certain amount of time. But you also said that souls can change their minds and leave. You told us that trauma is a misunderstanding that we use to set ourselves up for what we're wanting to experience. So what happens in case a soul decides to pass away when the child is very little, even though this was not the agreement with the rest of its family? With the rest of its family. Or if a soul leaves a body behind and the body starts looping and develops what we call dementia. Me. Yes. So not everything, we have explained before that not everything is done by agreement. So sometimes essences do change their mind in regards to the experience they want to have. Or maybe they're done with an experience sooner than they expected to be done with it. And now they want to move on to something else. And so you will have things happen like what we consider a death or what we consider a condition like dementia. And because of this, yes, in that sense, the family will be left to deal with the situation. At the same time, essences are very resilient. So keep in mind that your essence, while you are from a 3D perspective suffering, because these are very distressing events, like the loss of a child, extremely distressing event, keep in mind that the essence will very quickly be able to recalibrate. The question is, how long will it take the body to do that, the 3D human? And we can imagine that the loss of a child is probably one of the most traumatic experiences that a 3D human can have. And so in that sense, yes, there will be trauma, what we consider to be trauma. But again, like was said in the question, what is trauma? Trauma is a misunderstanding. We are not understanding that the soul simply moved on. And really, we haven't lost the soul. We can still be connected to the soul. But of course, we from a 3D perspective, take it in a much harsher way than that. So we understand. But yes, in that sense, in the strict sense of the question, yeah, the family is left to deal with it. Absolutely. The essence is free, it's always free. So if the essence decides to leave and to change an agreement, because again, there are no contracts, the essence is free. If the essence decides to change a game that they had set up to play, the role they had set up with the people around it, then yeah, the game will change. Lorraine, thank you. Tegan also asks, how can these family members prevent their pre-planned experience from being turned upside down if something that traumatic happens? Me. The essences are never really turned upside down. The essences have the ability to reframe anything. It is a matter of understanding. And essences understand because they know. They know, for example, there is no death. Not only, essences normally do know when something is going to happen. They do know when the essence of a loved one is gone. And therefore, that's why the person has developed dementia. So it's not really the essence that's having a hard time, it's the 3D human with our brains and our emotions. So how can this be prevented? You can't really prevent it. It's a matter of how quickly can you arrive at the understanding of what's truly going on. And when we talk about our own diseases, for example, how quickly do you arrive at the conclusion that what is happening is because it's showing you something? You don't have to die of something if you don't want to. You don't have to suffer from cancer all the way to stage 5 if you very quickly understand what it's telling you. You don't have to do anything. You can change your reality very, very quickly. So there are things, without even going to the extreme of losing a child, there are things that happen to many, many people, like, for example, a divorce. And they say this had happened because the other essence had decided this is it. The essence is left behind. The person that's left behind or feels left behind has the ability to obsess over this divorce for another 30 years, or has the ability, has the choice to move on in 1 year. It's the same decision. It's a matter of understanding. Why did it happen? What can I do with this to continue supporting my goals for my existence for this incarnation? And we understand perfectly this is not easily done in 3D. And we do not mean to minimize the impact that these very real issues have on human lives. However, the point of our response is that the quicker you can achieve an understanding of what certain things have done or are doing, and the fact that essences are free, and that this is the beauty of it all, that essences are free, and there is no real death. If that allows for an opening, for some comfort, the understanding will come much quicker. So this is why we think it's important to spread this information, and we hope that this is of comfort. So I'm going to stop here because I think that the information was quite a lot in many ways, quite a lot to absorb, because all of us have lived through or know of situations that are very hard for us to accept at a 3D level. And so it is of comfort to me, for example, that there is a greater purpose behind certain situations. So I do hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, please let me know below in the comments section, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.